You bet your butt we're live, and I was 4 seconds early just to make sure there was not a delay. All right, so let a few people get in here and pray to God or whoever's in charge of connections that this, let's pray that this audio and video is good. Dave Gatton helped me out with a headphone with a mic on it, so I think audio's good. For the first time since I started live streaming, I ran a Cat 6 cable from the router in my the office portion of my shop and moved it over to, or routed it from there to the laptop that I'm watching for comments on. So it's hardwired in. So if we still get blurry quality and lagging, then I need a new laptop. I had to spend a lot more than I wanted to. This laptop is such a dinosaur that it wouldn't accept the Cat 6 cable. I had to go out and buy a stupid Cat 6 to USB adapter and then a USB hub to get all these USB things plugged in. Yes, I'm complaining, but I don't expect anybody to do anything about it. Does anybody out there talk to me? Says we got 3 on YouTube, 1 on Facebook. Y'all let me know if the video looks okay and how the video and audio both are going. And once we get a couple comments going, not because I'm a comment hoarder, it's just I gotta know it's working. Is the video, Dave Gatton says the video and audio is good. Is the video better than it usually is, or does that still remain to be seen since we've barely gotten going? Hello, Dave Hart and Jeff Robinson. Jeff Robinson says Christmas pie. I'm not real sure what that means. But and Dave Hart says, what's up, Sir Charles? Howdy, Dave. Way better so far. Awesome. Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Okay, we have a total of 9 people watching, 5 on YouTube, 5 on Facebook. Thank you. Herb Hooper says it looks good. Ron Cope said that's better, LOL. And by God, I spent probably in the neighborhood of $100 with adapters and cables and USB hubs and oh Lord, that was a stressful day. I almost laid down for a nap, but then I said, no, I got to do this for folks. Not everybody goes out and parties on Friday nights. Well, I hope the video is noticeably better and that it stays that way for y'all, because to me it's not worth that much other than just hearing me babble and crack jokes. But I dang sure am not going to sing tonight, folks. And don't get too excited. Hello, Rob Watts. And Dave Gatton says, way better so far. Rob Watts says, howdy, Charles. Looks okay. Appreciate it, Rob. Herb Hooper says, looks good. And appreciate everybody. Okay, we got 12 folks watching, so I'll go ahead and get started now. When I get done with this one, we have a choice of 2 other projects, but you got to wait till I'm done with this one to choose between those 2. One is a horse, one's a football player. I'll tell you that much, but I won't show them to you until we're done with this one. But please let me know if the video starts messing up, because I'm going to be viciously upset with all the crap I went through today to get it going good. But I hope for viewing's sake and for my own sanity that it goes good. Awesome. Hey, Todd, I'll be cutting this, but right after that I have a horse project or a football player. The football player is about 3 feet tall. But we're almost done with this one, so we're going to finish it up. I had a very stressful day, but there's other people out there that are in pain, going through family crisis, losing their home, going in debt, getting sued, God knows what. So a lot of people have it a lot worse than I do. Todd, this might be the first time you've joined a live stream. I appreciate it. Okay, let me get going. I'll glance over for any questions or comments that may pop up. And I apologize ahead of time if I miss any. And we're going to start out having trouble finding the pilot hole. because, you know, it's live. I hope this video holds up. I really do. Okay, let me move my cursor here. All right. For those, and I'll repeat myself a lot because I don't know who's coming in and out. Using a 22-inch Hagner, using a number 5 spiral flat-ended Flying Dutchman blade. Pegas blades are sharper for most people, but I use flat-ended spirals specifically on a Hagner, so that's why I stick with Flying Dutchman. Plus, they've been around a while, and I like the company, and I buy them through woodenteddybear.com. Here we go. And the reason why Dave Gatton got me this headset with the mic on is because it was hard to hear me on the webcam over the saw, and I'll forever be grateful for that. But I'm also grateful for all you viewers, whether it's 1 or 2 or 20. Because of having to get all the stuff today, I wasn't able to do an earlier live feed, but I will try to average at least 1 live feed a day, hopefully 2, 1 in the morning, 1 at night, depending on what we're cutting. Appreciate you 15 people taking time out of your day to watch, and I welcome any comments, whether they're on topic or not. Questions or comments are welcome. But I will always be family friendly on these live feeds, so if you have any kids watching, don't worry. And if you're watching on Facebook and would prefer to go to YouTube, my YouTube channel, you should be able to find it under my same name, Charles Deering. And I'd appreciate it if you subscribe and click on that bell to get notifications of whether I go live or a project video comes out. I'd sure appreciate it. I believe I'm sitting at about 6,300 subscribers right now. A little more, but not much more. And I appreciate every one of you. And live feeds earlier in the day also help overseas viewers be able to watch, because, you know, they're at least majority of the ones I know are 6 hours ahead of me, but I know there's other time zones out there. A little piece chipped off here, but nothing major. Hope everybody's having a good Friday and kicking your feet back. Get your beverage of your choice and watch Charlie scroll, baby. Charlie will not be singing like he did yesterday. I played that back and I was so bloody embarrassed. I didn't have any acoustics for one because I was on headphones and that was horrible. I'm surprised I kept any viewers after that, but I was having fun, and I guess most of y'all know that. For me, the hardest thing to do with a spiral blade is a straight line. So I go really slow. Well, I go slow anyway, but I go really slow when I'm doing a straight line. If I recall, this piece is about 19 5/8 wide by about 16 5/8 tall, or somewhere in there. Hello, Steve Nealon of Hartnell Media. He is the one responsible for woodenvisions.com. I do not have any finished pieces on there yet, but I do plan on it someday if I can ever get my crap together. But there's a little over 1,785 products on there, most of which are patterns. And I could not have done it without Steve Nealon of Hartnell Media. You definitely want to consider him for your website needs. very affordable, and he works his butt off. He doesn't throw out a bunch of excuses. He's also part of a Makers Media Network. That is an application-based thing. So if you want to go to makersmedianetwork.com, there's an application to fill out, and you might just get accepted, by golly. Appreciate y'all watching. Is the video still holding up, or are we getting any blurriness or lagging? I know internet speed in general in my area isn't that awesome. We have a 15 megabyte plan. I believe that's what it is, and it's that's the highest offered around here, so I hope that doesn't affect anything. So y'all let me know if the video's going good consistently, or if it goes in and out. If it does, I'm going to be miffed. No question is stupid. I'll answer pretty much anything if it's family friendly. Doesn't have to be on topic. You may not be a scroll saw you're watching. You may not be interested in learning to scroll saw, but you might have questions. The reason why I say that is part of my audience might be non-scrollers, because some of my friends on Facebook are non-scroll sawyers, and I also posted to a bunch of selling pages saying, if you want to see how I do what I do, come on by. I'm located in Gatesville, Texas, for anybody that wants to know. About 45 minutes southwest of Waco. Ron Cope says it's clearer on YouTube than Facebook. Really? Harneal Media says looks good here. Woodworking 220-7 says looks good on my end. Ron, is it as bad as it had been in the past on Facebook, or is it just better video quality on YouTube in general? I mean, in other words, is it me, or could it be Facebook? I guess I'm just hoping for the best. I mean, is it better than it has been on Facebook, or is it just as bad? So for those watching on Facebook, I've so far been told it's clearer on YouTube than it is on Facebook. I don't know why. But if you do want to see it clearer, by golly, go on over to YouTube, search Charles Deering. My icon on YouTube is a wood grain version of me pointing. If you can't find it under my name, look up Charles Deering Scroll. I believe that's my YouTube username. Okay, it's just better quality on YouTube, so it's not real crap. Randy Bosheen, one of my newest friends, says really like the new Baby Yoda pattern. We'll order later tonight. Video looks clear and sound is clear. Major improvement. Sweet. See, I wanted to go broke to help my viewers. Now that sounded like a guilt trip. I wanted better quality because I want people to appreciate the content more than the quality, because I want the quality to speak for itself. Wait, that didn't make dagnabbit. I know what I'm trying to say. I want the production quality to at least be worth taking your time out to watch, and that's why it matters to me. But so hopefully now that the video and audio is better, people will tune in. I know we had some low numbers in the beginning, but yeah, after seeing the crappy video quality and the audio of the past, I'm surprised I had any viewers. So that means that much more when people tune in and stay tuned in. Awesome. Thank you, Daniel Davis, and welcome back. you have any questions about anything I've already mentioned, I don't mind repeating myself. We're probably going to finish this one in no time, and I'll show you the other two options we can work on, and I'll go by majority rules as far as which one I work on next. One is a football player, one is horse themed. If that influences your vote at all, don't worry about what team it is. My team is the Dallas Cowboys, but it's still a football player project, and I'm hoping people will take that into consideration versus who it is. We're going to stick with scrolling tonight as long as I can stay conscious. I won't run off being hungry, I don't think. And I was way crankier today than I had to be regarding all this video quality stuff, because it bothers me when it's just like my designs. I want to give a quality product out there, although my video feeds aren't necessarily a product. I want it to be worth y'all's time and worth my time. But I was cranky because I didn't know this dinosaur laptop couldn't accept a Cat6 cable without an adapter, so I had to go out and get. I'm sitting here complaining, but yeah. Anyway, I had to go out and get an adapter and all that kind of crap. It was oodles of fun, so I was a little stressed out. Daniel Davis says, "I'm here because of you, not the video production." Well, I appreciate that, but it still helps to be able to see what I'm doing, I would imagine. But I appreciate that compliment. I'm not making light of it. But I am available for parties. Some parties. I mean, I got my limits. But this is a family-friendly show, so I'm going to keep it that way. Something's not in there right because it sounds different. Whether scroll sawing related or not, anybody has any questions, please feel free to throw them out there. Randy Bosheen says Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Okay. I'm afraid it's not a cheerleader. Okay, I'll tell you, it's Ezekiel Elliott doing the feed me thing, but it's a full body stand up. It's 3 feet tall. But I may end up doing both if I get done with the other one quick enough. But it just depends on the overall vote once I show them. I'm not going to sit here and say the Dallas Cowboys are kicking butt this year, because they're not, most definitely. But once a fan, always a fan. But it's still a profile project regardless, and it's already drawn up, as is the horse. The horse I started on an old live feed and just put it away to do that Frozen. If I ever cut anything that's even remotely of an adult nature, I don't even know if that's allowed on YouTube, to be honest, but I know it's not allowed on Facebook, which is another benefit to subscribing on YouTube if you are not already. Got 19 people watching, or 18 now. I appreciate you. I'm not able to see who comes in unless you comment, but it's not mandatory that you comment. I just can't acknowledge you if I don't see you. And I like to acknowledge people because they're taking time out of their day to come watch, and I appreciate it. I also have a version of this design with their whole bodies. This one, I just, I didn't want to have to do it the size of a billboard in order to cut it, although that's not unheard of with me. Daniel Davis says horse project. Okay, that's where we're at so far. And there again, if I get that done quick enough, I can go right into the football player if I'm still conscious. That's one vote for the horse project, but I'll show them both because, you know, visual helps with some people. So our video's still holding up pretty good. Look how many cuts I did before I took a Dr. Pepper break. How cool is that? That's dedication, folks. Now, because that football player is 3 feet tall, I would have to move the camera back to show you all of it. I don't remember the height of the horse project, but I'll measure that too, by golly. Excuse me. I'm awake. Also very thankful for this camera crane. A former friend of mine made it for me, and a few others. More than one camera crane is what I mean. Now the stuff I got today I could have gotten on Amazon, but I wouldn't have gotten it till Sunday, and I thought the weekend would be a good time to reach a larger audience, so I was anxious to get all the stuff needed, so I had to make myself get out of the house, which I don't do very often. Seems like the older I've gotten with the panic disorder, the more social anxiety I get. I don't know why. If you're just joining, I am able to see comments, but not who comes in, unless they comment. And if you're watching on Facebook, I've been told it's a little clearer to watch on YouTube, so that's under Charles Daring Scroll, or just Charles Daring, you'll probably be able to find it. Subscribe and hit the bell, and you'll be notified when I do these live videos and or project videos. Very thankful that the video quality has improved. Hopefully that'll stick around. Hardwired in now. Jeff Robinson says, what kind of pie do you want for Christmas? Pumpkin, pecan, peach, peanut butter, lemon, coconut, chocolate. Ooh, chocolate. I can't turn down chocolate. But I got to be honest, I don't know that I can come get it. That's 2 hours away because I know you're tired of hearing about this, but my anxiety doesn't let me travel much. Well, yeah, I can never turn down chocolate. Let me take a quick peek, seeing how many we got on each platform. We have 8 on YouTube, 2 on Facebook. And thank you for asking, Jeff. But if you get me something, I got to get you something. But it might be made out of wood. Shocker, I know. I can't cook. I can even burn a salad. That's funny right there. Y'all talk to me. Come on now. Is the, just for the sake of feedback, those of y'all still watching, is the video consistently, I'll ask a few times, and then I'll stop asking, because then I'll be convinced that it's going to stay clear. Is the video staying consistently clear, or is it? Because I know before, man, it would pixelate all to heck and lag and all kinds of crap. Actually, if y'all say it's good now, I'll just assume it's staying that way. But if the quality does go down, please let me know. That way I won't think we're sitting pretty and then not try to address anything. All right, let me get comfortable here. I kind of miss having a co-host to banter back and forth with besides the viewers, to banter back and forth with while I'm doing this. But that requires, patience and nothing else to do. Okay, gonna turn the piece so I can do this single. All right, Daniel Davis says good here, and steady from what I've seen says Rob Watts. Sweet. All right, so maybe we did good. And I couldn't have done it without y'all's feedback either, and advice. Me and technical stuff do not get along. I try, but the harder I try to figure stuff out, the more confused I get. And that alone has been known to frustrate a few people. It requires patience to teach me something. And again, I can't thank y'all enough for being here. It really means a lot. We are so close to being done with this one. But we're going to jump right into another one. Only gotten one vote so far, but I'll wait till we have a visual. Josh Moore says, looks good. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you watching. And Josh, if the video quality isn't quite up to snuff for you, I'm told it's a little better on YouTube. If not a lot better, I don't know. I go by the same name on YouTube, Charles Deering. Should be able to find it. If not, let me know. Now, I don't know if this shows up on camera or not, but you'll see how this line kind of wise off and it's scribbled out. That's because I drew it wrong. So I'm going to ignore that scribbled line and follow this line. Hello from Montana, John Hellstrom, longtime friend. I'm down here in Texas. Was a pretty day today. Not a fan of cold. Or it's like right when it gets too hot too. Now I went off the line, but I'm being consistent with how much I'm off the line so that I don't make a big crook in a line that is just the width of the blade. So yeah, I butchered that one all the heck, but it's not going to change the look of the piece. I should have turned it towards me, but oh well. I really need to slow down. I went off the line there too. I'm getting a little too cocky here. But none of the times I've gone off the line have been detrimental to the design. I mean, because the faces and things that are characteristic, or what's the word I'm looking for? Unique to the subject is what really matters. That was just a curve and another curve. Daniel Davis says, I may know this already, LOL, but are you using one of those magnifier thingamajiggies with the ring light? I'm using the light portion of it, yes. That's what the white thing you see here. But the magnification is too strong for my eyes, so it freaks them out. I mean, it helps me see better, but it really messes with me trying to look through it, so I just use the light from it. I mean, even though I have the light that you can see reflected right here, this one helps me get a little closer if need be. And you're seeing that reflection right here. Gonna do the background last, which isn't mandatory, but that's just the order I'm choosing to do it in. Again, any questions or comments on either Facebook or YouTube, let me know and I will address them. The only drawback to this headset mic is I can't mutter under my breath because y'all will be able to hear me. I'm kidding. But it's true. I don't have a reason to mutter under my breath, by golly. Video is good on my end. Sweet, says Daniel. Sweet. I like weekends because the odds of getting more people to be able to watch is awesome because some people have to wake up early the next day. But some of y'all are weird like me and don't have normal schedules, or hopefully I'm just scheduling these at the right time. And I do not have a set schedule. Depends on when I'm awake. But since I found StreamYard with Dave Gatton, you can schedule live feeds ahead of time, and I will, again, if you're just joining, I will try to do an average of 1 in the morning to mid-morning on up to nighttime. So just any time during the day or night, I could do another live stream just for something to do, and hopefully maybe teach somebody something or just give them something to watch. Jeff Robinson says, as my wife will say, the lines are just a suggestion. Yep, I've said that before too, but some of them, like, features on somebody's face that make them who they are, that's the only time, in my opinion, that they're not a suggestion, because it can alter how the person looks. Yet, but for the most part, in scrolling, lines are a suggestion. I can't speak for other experienced scrollers, but I still go off the line sometimes. But also, a lot of times it's in areas that aren't really that important. Maybe I'm just saying that to make myself feel better. I didn't add my signature on the Lightning McQueen or the Frozen because it looked like it would have been out of place, but I may add my signature on this one right through here with a small blade, because I don't think it would rob from the picture too much. Again, if you're watching on Facebook and you want a tad bit better video quality, yes, I'm going to be a broken record about this. Feel free to head on over to YouTube. Under the same name, you should be able to find me. If not, add the word scroll on the end. It's all one word, I believe. And subscribe and hit the bell, and you'll never miss a thing. If you've ever heard the term bottom feeding or top feeding, it's referring to which direction you're feeding through the pilot hole. Like if you're feeding it from the bottom through the pilot hole, that's bottom feeding. Feeding from the top is top feeding. For the Hegner, bottom feeding is about all you can do because it only goes up a certain amount. The bottom and top arms are held together with a spring. Not held together, but they're in conjunction with each other by a spring. So if you look at one of my other videos on YouTube, it's called Anatomy of a Scroll Saw. It's about scroll saws in general, but it also shows you specifics of this one. The Seiko ST21, another one of my favorite saws. You lift up the arm, it'll stay. And I also have a video if you're not able to get it to stay or not able to get it to come down or go up. Y'all are being awful quiet tonight, but maybe y'all are just better at watching and hushing than I am. Thumbs up from Daniel Davis. He says, what type of projects would anyone need to tilt their scroll saw for? Anything where you want to bevel. It's called relief cutting. Now, relief cutting doesn't have to be, well, yeah, it pretty much is bevel cutting. You would bevel your saw for that, and also a vase or a bowl. Yes, those can be done on a scroll saw. I also have a video for that, how to make a vase on a scroll saw. And those are the only ones I can think of. Anytime you want to recess or something to stick out is when you would do that. You would recess it or stick it out a little bit and then glue out of view to hold it in place, unless it's a snug enough fit. Jeff Robinson wants to know, have you started a pattern for Ham from Toy Story? I don't even know who Ham is, but judging by the name, I'm guessing it's a pig. But no, I have not. These are the only two characters I've done from Toy Story. I know they have a pig character, but I assume the name Ham has to be a pig. I could be way off. I have a little over 1,785 products on woodenvisions.com for anybody that's looking for a range of scroll saw patterns. Hopefully there's something there for everybody. If not, I do custom patterns. Right now they start at 50 per photo to pattern. That may go up around January 1st. I'm giving people time to get their custom orders in. That way they can beat the price increase. I just saw a line I missed when I cut up one of the earlier ones. It was a single line. And y'all didn't tell me. Just one little line. Rob Watt says, made a deal on a Hegner. He calls it a Hagner, but it's actually a Hegner, and I'm only saying that for the audience's sake in case they're looking for one. Hegner, sold by advancedmachinery.com. He said he made a deal on a Hegner a couple years ago and just haven't got to it. Never have done any scrolling yet, so any info is welcome. I'm better at answering questions other than the babbling I already do, Rob, so it's okay to ask any level beginner question or whatever the case is. Nobody here is going to mess with you about it, I promise. Ham is a piggy bank, says Dave Hart. In Toy Story, voice of Ham is Cliff Calvin from Cheers. Okay. All right, but no, I have not done that pattern yet. whenever I'm doing patterns that aren't flat out requested, I'm looking for as far as why I chose Woody and Buzz Lightyear is because they were the most popular on the series or the movie. Same with Anna and Elsa on Frozen and stuff like that. I also have a design for Mater from Cars. I mean, I did Lightning McQueen the other day, which is right by me. I guess I could show it in case nobody saw it. Mater is my favorite character, but I did Lightning McQueen because I knew the live feed would go quicker doing that one. And that's it. I don't remember the dimensions of it, but yeah, there's Lightning McQueen. I may do Mater on a future live feed because I'm hoping to do live feeds for the rest of my life. Well, I heard my hick accent on that one. Rest of my life. By God. All right. Excuse me. Rob Watt says, right on. Sorry for the misspelling, brother. No, you don't have to apologize. It happens. Some people call it a Hagner, so I just wanted, only for the sake of folks that may be looking for one, if we told them Hagner, they may not be able to find it. It's the only reason I corrected you. I hope you understand that and don't take offense. I don't think you do, but I don't like to assume. When I lift the piece up like this, I'm making sure the hole in the Lexan is lined up with the hole in the table. And for those that don't know, the reason why I put this Lexan over it is because the table on the Hagner is 9 inches wide by 14 inches front to back. And I do large pieces, so I wanted a larger surface. I just built a little wooden frame and put the Lexan on top. And I do not regret that. But I love the Hagner regardless. Not counting the background, we only have 10 cuts left, but I will be jumping right into another project that we'll all vote on. Again, if you've watched me on past Facebook Live feeds, I was able to acknowledge who was coming in and out, but using StreamYard, it only shows me those people who comment, so please don't feel like I'm neglecting you intentionally. We have 22 people watching. That's awesome. The Hagner is most definitely all the saw they say it is. It is a workhorse. The parts are expensive. The saw itself is expensive, but it is all they say it is. The only drawback to me is the small table. Its thing is solid as a rock. And no, they're not sponsoring me. Another excellent saw with excellent customer service, as well as Hagner, is Seiko. Ray Seymour over in Rockwall, Texas, is an awesome guy to work with, as well as Tim and Joe in the shop. Both saws are excellent. The Seiko has a very large table, the largest one on the market. Okay, we have 10 watching on YouTube, 2 on Facebook. Well, I'm glad I started doing this on YouTube. Facebook is getting less and less people watching, but hey, like I said, even 1 or 2 people watching is good. Makes me feel less lonely. I knew about StreamYard, but I hadn't really tried to experiment with it. And Dave Gatton told me the benefits of it, and boom, here we are, baby. You can blame him if you don't like me. He probably raised his eyebrows on that if he heard me. So, I ain't responsible for everything you do, boy. Jeff, are you still watching this on a 55-inch TV to see when I go off the line? This is completely off topic, but do any of y'all have the Roomba, or it's like iRobot or Roomba? I don't remember what it's called. I got my wife one as an early Christmas present and birthday and New Year's and all that. Not cheap, but the only complaint I have about it is that that battery doesn't last long enough to do the whole house, and it bothers me. Get a smaller house. Rob Watt says, as a lifelong machinist, I love the German engineering. I've heard very good things about German engineering. I wish I could find somebody that can, and this isn't against Hegner, I wish I could find somebody that could, form never mind. I was going to say make a larger table for this to fit the same way this table fits, but that would be not cool towards Hegner because I value their products too. But now on the Hegner, the table tilts. It only tilts a certain direction, certain degree, one direction. I don't remember the exact because I don't use beveling very often. But on the Hegner, on the Seiko, the head tilts. That's another benefit. Yeah, that's where we're at. So appreciate the questions and comments that come in. If anybody else has any, it's okay. There's not everybody's lifelong scroll sawyer. If you have any questions, whether it's scroll sawyering related or anything, I'll address it. Actually, I wondered if I should do the signature here, since that's the lower right corner where most signatures are. I'm just hoping I don't break it. If I break it, I just have an extra piece of detail, I guess. Daniel Davis says, with projects like you're doing now, how small can you go to still be able to get the details? Oh boy, you put me on the spot on that one. Well, because I'm a stickler for detail, sometimes I shoot myself in the foot. And I'll be the first to admit that. People have been telling me through the years, man, you got to do simpler patterns. You got to do simpler patterns. But I'm a realist, and I can't see detail and not add it. It sounds silly that I can't hold back, but it's actually more of an effort for me to leave out detail. So I hope I answered your question. Jeff Robinson says, no, my wife is home, so she commandeered the 55-inch television. Well, good. Then you won't see all my little mistakes, but I'll be honest and point them out anyway. But also, when there's smaller detail, and Tommy Mater, he's an occasional viewer. I believe he just recently started using the smaller spirals and maybe flat blades too. But there are smaller blades than I use. I use number 3 and number 5, but they make them much, 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 much smaller. For me personally, I can never dial in, so to speak, the tension on the smaller blades. So I hope in my many sentences that I answered your question, sir. Rob Watt says, the devil is always in the details. By God. Well, that was an ironic term for me to use, but yeah, you're right. Got 23 viewers. That's awesome. Tell your friends. Tell your friends. All right. We are so close to being done with this one, but do not worry, folks. I can't scroll that short and then leave unless the internet drops. We'll jump right into another one. I'll admit I'm kind of wanting to do the football player because it's tall and I don't know, it's a unique kind of project, but for those looking for designs that can do any football player, any team, any number on the jersey, stuff like that. But I don't do them without a custom order because, I don't want to have to cover every team, every player, and just have a stack of stuff sitting around. My team happens to be the Dallas Cowboys. Win or lose, they're my team. That doesn't mean I won't do other teams for people. For you viewers, if you're into football, who's your team? I genuinely want to know so I can give you crap if we ever start winning again. I can handle just about anybody other than the Eagles. And I'm not one of those people that stopped watching football because of the people kneeling. But don't get me wrong. That kneeling stuff upsets me to no end. But none of the Dallas Cowboys were doing it, so luckily I didn't have to face that. But yeah, I'm very patriotic and very pro-military. Blah 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 blah. 25 folks watching. If you have any comments or questions, please feel free to throw them out there. I will not be able to see that you're watching specifically unless you comment, not that you have to. Even if there's a negative comment, I will repeat it unless it's not family friendly. I don't discriminate. But I do want to keep all these live feeds family friendly, so there's some things I won't repeat. Nick Ferry says, sup? There's my boy. I haven't talked to you in forever, fella. Life kept getting in the way. Good old Nick Ferry, long time friend. Rob Watts says Green Bay, which is ironic because Nick Ferry, when he does watch football, is a Green Bay fan. He's, I believe, in or very near Green Bay. Green Bay is not bad. Aaron, what's his face? Aaron Watson? No, that's Houston. I'm going blank. Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, that's who it is. How the heck are you, Nick? It's good to see you here. I appreciate your support, so to speak. Unless you're looking for ammo to give me heck, but yep. Nick Ferry says, "Go Pack!" Smack dab in the middle of Green Bay. By golly, my Cowboys definitely packed it in and turned to crap. I said this last night, but I don't understand how a team can be completely awesome one year and then completely suck the next. I don't get that. You got, for the most part, the same players. You can't forget how to tackle. Apparently you can. Nick, how do you feel about when they got rid of Clay Matthews? I couldn't believe that. I thought he was one of their best players. Of course, I don't follow him real closely, but I was shocked when they got rid of Clay Matthews from Green Bay. Oh, Nick Ferry says, I have to run, but saw you were live and had to pop in and say hi. I appreciate it, Nick. Appreciate it. Appreciate you watching. But yeah, I was curious about that. I believe he's with the Los Angeles Rams now, or whatever Rams. There are so many California teams. That means a lot that you stopped by, sir. We have 28 folks watching. I appreciate it. Y'all don't be shy if you want to ask or comment, regardless of whether or not it's on a certain topic. That's fine. I shall address it, or I'll just. But I'm going to babble either way because I got to keep myself entertained too. Russ Meadows, there's my boy. Man, that's one of my closest friends right there, coaching Charles. I can't take the name coach because that's Wes Balco, but I appreciate it. Russ Meadows, one of my dearest friends. I was wondering if you were ever going to join one of these live feeds, by golly. But I didn't want to pester you either. Really wish you lived a lot closer. That might sound like a threat to you, but I'd love to see you more often. And for those that didn't see last night's feed, one thing you can do with a spiral blade, or one thing you maybe should do with a spiral blade on most cuts, is when you get towards the end of a cut, let the flex come out of the blade. I hope that makes sense, because I don't think we're zoomed in enough for me to show it to you, but I'll do it anyway. So I'm going to get towards the end of that cut, and I'll stop feeding the wood and let the flex come out of the blade. That's more so if you're pushing the wood kind of hard. But yeah, you just saw it break loose there. That was the flex coming out of the blade. And it's not real severe. It depends on how hard you are feeding the piece into the wood. And every now and then, if you're a first-time watcher, that's why I'm explaining this, you'll see me go back and forth across the line. That's because I'm using the... Well, that tension needs to be brought up. Oh, I have the tension off. Never mind. I'll use that to use it as a little mini sander to get a wave out of a line. Okay, we have 3 more cuts, not counting the background. Oh, Dallas Cowboys coach, that's funny right there. Oh, apparently I'm behind on comments, so bear with me right quick. Coaching Charles, Daniel Davis says you did answer. Okay, good. Randy Bosheen says, Daniel, I printed Mater and Lightning McQueen at letter size. Lost a lot of detail. 11 by 17 was better, but 13 by 19 is good. That's as large as my printer goes. Randy, most printers, if not all, when you go to print, you have an option of, I believe, poster. Check with Steve Good on that. But I believe you have an option for poster. It will print it out in multiple pages for you to tape them together. I use a website called Rapid Resizer, but it costs to use, I think. But yeah, look for, if nothing else, Google how to print multiple pages. I don't know the term. I believe it's called postering. Remind me on Messenger, and I will try to look it up. Russ Meadows says, Dallas Cowboys coach. Well, yeah, that coach ain't helping matters, is he? Rob Watt says, how are we going to get off these cancer sticks, Charles? For me, it'll probably take death. I hate to say it. I can't defend that I smoke, but I do and I enjoy it. I got nothing for you. Yeah, you're I believe all printers can go with the poster function. I want to say it's poster, that or tiling, something to do with printing out multiple pages to tape together to make one large picture. Try Google before me because it knows more than I do. I'm going to go to a smaller blade when I go to do my signature in the hopes that it won't break. A lot of my YouTube videos, I will zoom in on the signature and then zoom out from there to show a finished piece at the end of a video. And I started doing that because somebody talked about how to sign your work, this and that, and I figured, you know what the heck, let's be unique. But I don't do it to every piece because some of them is kind of invasive. Rob Watt says, I discovered the use of spiral blades when I first used our saw. I have maybe 2 hours of experience. Well, by golly, that's a start, buddy. After a while, you're going to get addicted to it and start doing stuff like I'm doing. Russ Meadows says poster, so he's probably referring to the printer setup I was talking about. Daniel Davis says, honestly, I don't care for football anymore, and that sucks. We can't talk anymore. I'm just kidding, because I think it has gotten to be more about money than the actual game, but that's just my opinion. And I can see why you would say that, Daniel, because for a lot of people it has. I try to look past that because I need a sport to follow. Football's the only one I like. Dale Jr. retired, so I don't follow NASCAR anymore. So maybe just me being desperate to have a sport to follow. Basketball and baseball don't do anything for me. I'm glad that broke on that and not my signature. I mean, that sounds arrogant, but what I mean is, signature is teeny tiny, and a breaking blade can butcher that. All right. Gonna have to reset the tension. But Randy, you said, or Rob, you said you've had only 2 hours experience. I don't think you are afraid, but don't be afraid to ask any questions whatsoever. It's not a stupid question. Everybody starts sometime. And if you jumped, it's okay. A lot of people jump when the blade breaks. Randy says, thanks for the heads up. We'll have to try that. All right. We have 26 people watching. We appreciate you. We have 10 on YouTube, 3 on Facebook. If you're a first time watching this or even 10th time and haven't subscribed, I hope you'll consider subscribing and hitting that bell to make sure you get all your notifications. Because I'm going to try to do an average of 2 live feeds a day. At least 1, but I'm going to try to do 2. There was somewhere on Buzz Lightyear's uniform that it said Space Ranger, somewhere on his chest, but it was just way too small. There's no way I would have been able to get that in unless I did this thing 8 feet tall. I think I might have put a dull blade in there, but oh well. It's still cutting. I'm hitting the back of the saw, so I got to turn it around a little bit. I'll turn it around. Oh. Let me catch up. Patrick's Workshop says, hello, Patrick's Workshop. Very good. He's a multi-talented maker. He does lathe turning, 3D printing, all kinds of stuff. I don't have it all memorized. Goes by Patrick's Workshop on YouTube. Appreciate you watching, Patrick. Not counting the background, this will be the last cut, except for my signature, which I really hope I don't break. But I will be starting another project right after this one. And Rob, I don't know if this counts for flat blades because I don't use flat blades, but I do know when I switch from one size of spiral to another that I do have to reset the tension, and I'm about to do that now. I'm going to put a smaller blade in to do the signature and pray I don't break the signature. Because it's a smaller blade, it'll break easier than a bigger blade if the tension is set the way it was on the bigger one. Again, don't if you're just joining, I'm not going to stop after I'm done with this project. I'm going to jump right into another one. I purposely loosen the tension on this saw to set it for this blade. I think that's the sound I want. I guess we'll find out when I start to do that signature, huh? And my signature has a lot of straight lines in it, so I may turn the piece different directions. Here goes nothing. And unfortunately, that's going to hit the back of my saw, so I may have to sit off to the side of the saw to do it. I may have not left myself enough room there, but I'll do my darndest. Okay. I usually wait till last to do it, but I'm already in this area, so I figure what the heck, then we got 2 cuts to do the background. Okay, let me put this on the other side of the saw. That way I can do it more towards me, but I want to determine where I want that signature to start, because the first letter of my signature is pretty big. So I want to have it more turned towards me. This piece isn't wide enough to hit the back of the saw, but when you have it at an angle like that, it's going to hit the back of the saw. So let me do it pretty high up to give myself some room here. Here we go. Yeah, I think we'll be able to do it. I just did the hardest letter. But I don't want to speak too soon either. If you ever misspell your name, that's when it's time to retire. I almost broke that R. Oh well. This might be the smallest I've ever done my signature. But I didn't want to go too big and then have it go off the edge of the piece. I will try to show y'all up close once I get done doing the signature. That's awesome. I did it without breaking it. Sweet. Maybe I should catch up. Russ Meadows says, don't get an itch there, buddy. Might break something. I hear you. Got to run, buddy, and I'll try to get back on, says Daniel Davis. I appreciate you watching, Daniel. I won't be offended if you don't come back on, but it'd be great to see you again. I'm going to try to show this signature up close, but I don't know how to get this thing to focus. Where are we at here? Here's my signature. It's not quite as good as my actual signature, but it's my signature. All right, so let me do the background, and we'll be done with old Woody and Buzzy, and then we'll jump right into another one. Good, I didn't break it. Didn't want to make a fool out of myself. Got 28 folks watching. I appreciate it. If y'all have any questions or comments, feel free to throw them out there. Now, for me, the hardest thing to do on a spiral blade is a straight line, and I'm about to have to do a few of them for this border around this. That might be part of the reason why I do a lot of stuff that's without borders. Yeah. Okay. I really hate it when I'm working on a long straight line like this or another one and the blade breaks, because I get in a certain rhythm when I'm doing it, and if the blade breaks, I have to reset my rhythm. Kind of funny terminology, but I don't know how else to word it, by golly. Please don't be shy about any questions you may have. This is only the about the third Dr. Pepper sip I've taken. Usually I'm taking one every couple cuts, but by golly, we're going to get a lot done tonight. Y'all might hear me gulping with this microphone right next to my mouth, but okay. Don't run off. We're about to get going again, I promise. Okay, here we go. Get everything right here, Charlie. Make sure your light's in the right spot, by God. And don't make a wavy line on the straight line, okay? Whoops. Okay, don't worry. Remember how I told you got to reset the tension for different sides of blades? I forgot to reset it for the larger blade. Whew, that scared me a little bit. No problem, Rob. The video feed kind of fell apart a couple minutes ago. Are you kidding me? Oh. And I'm hardwired in, so I don't know what to... Oh, I don't like that. Well, let me take this out of here so I can get the tension correct. Well, crap. What? I'm only a little bit bummed and stressed because I don't know what else to do besides hardwiring in. But for the most part, it's been holding steady. Rob Watt says, I like the SIG. I appreciate it. Man, I hope that's not consistent, what you just talked about, Rob, as far as the video quality falling apart. Did it stay long, or was it just like a glitch? Because the internet speed in this area isn't real high, but hopefully... Yeah, but I'm going to be upset if it happens a lot because the crap I went through today to get a good video. Okay, got to get my mind right again because I messed up the... Okay, here we go. Straight line. But also the hat comes right in here by it, so I may whittle away at that while it's in the area. Because it comes right up to that line. I put a dull blade in here, I can feel it. I tend to, for the most part, use blades until they break. 9 times out of 10, when they break, they're either dull or I'm pushing them too hard. Definitely getting a lot of resistance. That tells me this is a dull blade. The harder you have to push for a blade usually means it's dull, unless it's, you know, you haven't used it before. And the reason why I do these borders around some of the ones that don't have a background on them is because to give the frame of your choosing something to hold on to, or to help support, I guess. But any design of mine that you see go off the edge of the picture, so to speak, that's where you would put a border around it. But I don't usually design them with borders unless it's like the Frozen one where it goes outside the border intentionally for a 3D effect. Okay, I hit the back of the saw, and I don't want to turn the piece with the blade going because it'll go off the line. See, that messed with my mojo. Now I got to redial it in. Now, although this is a spiral blade, I like, especially on long straight cuts, I like to have the line facing me as close as I can get it anyway. Rob, I hope that video quality that tanked for a second, I hope that's not consistent. So you're saying it's just as bad as it was last night? 3 or 4 minutes? Oh, God, I don't need this. Okay, if any of you techie guys can figure out what the heck I got to do. I mean, I know somebody's guessing that the glare of the overhead light, but that shouldn't affect. I can understand focus of the camera, but it shouldn't affect overall. Oh, crap. I don't know. I don't know what to say. So if any techie people are hearing this and have any ideas, please let me know. I mean, I am hardwired in, but I'm not the only one that uses my internet, so maybe that's playing a part. I don't know. I'm just going to be really upset. 3 or 4 minutes of fuzzy. That's not good at all. And I even announced that it was better video and audio quality. But if it took that long for the quality to go to crap, maybe it is because I'm not the only one using the internet connection. I hope that's all it is. I really hope that's all it is. Because I'm out of ideas of how to fix it. And I don't want to run viewers off that aren't as patient as the ones that stick around. And Rob is watching on YouTube, so that bothers me even more that it's doing that on YouTube. Three or 4 minutes, that really gets me. Jeff Robinson's already read that one. Rob Watt says, I was pretty shocked at how slow you need to feed even quarter-inch material. For me, it's mainly trying not to mess it up. Randy Bosheen says, clear again. Russ Meadows says, good on my end. Russ, did it ever go down at any point? Because maybe for some reason it could have been just a glitch for one person. That maybe it's wishful thinking. But Rob Watts watching over on YouTube said it went to crap for 3 or 4 minutes straight, and it's still clear now. I'm glad to hear, but wondering if that glitch in the video was for everybody or just Rob. No offense, Rob, but I hope it was only you. You can tell I care, huh? Only 2 more straight lines after this, but I gotta obviously cut inside here. Inside, you know, where the rest of it is. Rob Watts says it wasn't from the light. It just pixelated out for 3 or 4 minutes and went back to steady clear. Man, I wonder, I wish, do any of you folks know if that's a low internet speed? Because, I'm sorry, I got distracted by a notification. Okay, Russ Meadows says not while I was watching. Rob, do you know if it was while I was talking to Russ or any time after he came in? I'm just trying to figure out if it's Rob's computer or mine. Because I'm hardwired in any way I can be. I believe we only get 15 megs out here. I don't know if that makes sense to people, but that's our internet speed, so to speak, plan, because that's the most they offer around here. So I wonder if that plays into it, and if more than one person's on the internet, maybe that plays in. But I turned off my desktop computer in case that would mess with it, so it's not mine. I might just have a crappy laptop, I don't know. Well, it's kind of crappy because it didn't even have a port to put the Cat 6 cable in, and that kind of bothered me. The reason why I'm turning the piece, even though it's a spiral, is because I was reaching the back of the scroll saw there and I didn't want to interrupt the cut. It's ironic that Rob said that, and I know I keep talking about it, but it's because I care about the video and audio quality. But people were saying it was clearer on YouTube, but Russ has been watching it on Facebook, yet the glitch happened on YouTube. Or maybe Russ just missed it. I don't know. But anytime I'm aware of a problem like that, I want y'all to let me know, because I want to get the best video quality I can out there with anything that's in my control. But if it's an internet speed thing, I can't fix that because they only offer 15 megs. And I definitely can't afford another laptop. But if anybody needs to know the particulars of the laptop to know about the speed, I don't know all that without being told how to find it. I got some tiny waves in that straight line, but I can fix those later. So we're getting there. You're getting an idea what it looks like. Rob Watts says there's a hub in your area and many others that people share. So if a bunch of people get online, definitely interfere with your bandwidth. That might be what's going on. Rob Watts says definitely could have been just me because I'm watching on my phone and our cell signal here is not perfect. None taken, says Rob. I appreciate it. Randy Bosheen says still nice and clear. Randy, did it ever glitch for you? I mean, like Rob was saying, it went crappy for 3 or 4 minutes. Did that happen to you? If it did, then it is on my end and not your phone, Rob. Again, I have little bitty waves in this line, but I can fix that later. I mean, for the most part, y'all get an idea what it looks like. But I guess if I'm going to look for the silver lining, if a majority of the time it stays clear, that makes me happy, because things in it are out of my control. They are out of my control. Appreciate 27 people watching. Really appreciate that. Jeff Robinson says we can get 1,000 megabytes, whatever it is, in our area, but we had 300. Fiber optic. God, I would love to have fiber optic. I'm in Gatesville, Texas. Our options are really limited. I don't know who I was talking to either, Rob, because I've talked to so many people about so many different things. I don't know. I know I asked Randy, because he's watching on YouTube as well. So is Jeff Robinson. Okay, Jeff and Randy. Rob said that he was. Rob said it went fuzzy or pixelated for about 3 or 4 minutes and then cleared up. Did that happen to either you, Randy, or you, Jeff, or anybody watching on YouTube? If not, then no offense, Rob, it was you. Oh, you said no offense taken. So, well, anyway, I hope you're the only one that saw that. Okay, let's get back on this. And again, if you're just joining, I will be moving right into another project after this one, so no need to run off. Unless you're tired of hearing me whine about quality. I found it's almost easier to cut a straight line with a slightly dull blade, because it's less likely to want to wander. That's not advice, it's just something I've found. But I'm thrilled we've had an average of 20 or more viewers. I really appreciate that. Now, I'm not going to do the whole straight line sideways like this, I don't think. Right now I'm trying to get past a little where I did more than one pilot hole, thinking I was going to draw it differently. Yeah, I'll do it sideways. And believe it or not, I break blades most often on a straight line, because I tend to find myself pushing the blade, or the piece harder, into the blade, and I don't mean to, but I do. This is going to be an example of where I let the flex come out of the blade so I slow down when I get towards the corner. If not just slowing down, not necessarily always for the flex. Now, even though it's a spiral, if you're just joining, I turn it around so I can be more consistent. It seems to be easier for me to go sideways than straight on because there's more of a, if I turn it like this, I got more coming this way, and it's just easier to do it sideways sometimes. Two Shout says it happened with me also on YouTube. Oh, crap. Well, I appreciate it, Two Shout. I hope I'm saying that correct. Well, no, Rob, because apparently Two Shout said it happened to him or her too. I don't know. Jeff Robinson's, yes, it was a fuzzy picture for a few minutes. That really bothers me, but hopefully the majority of people will say, okay, majority of the time it stayed clear, and that makes me happy. So if I just sit here and stress about it, it won't do me any good because it's got to be the internet speed and amount of people using either my signal or the hub, like Rob was saying. Okay, well, we'll work with what we got and just hope it stays clear a majority of the time, which I think it has, so we're good. Now, because this blade was already dull, it could break on this straight line because of what I was saying. That doesn't mean that'll happen to everybody, just me. And for those that have never watched before, I have a wooden floor in my shop, so a lot of vibration sounds you hear is that's what it is. And also this Lexan is sitting slightly above the table, and that can chatter at times, and I keep going off the line, so I'm trying to go back and shave it. And in case I didn't say it too short, I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to throw them out there. I will address them. Hey, so feel good, Rob. It wasn't just you. But I think overall it's going well, video quality wise. But if it happens more than once, y'all tell me. No, you don't even have to tell me because I know it's probably internet speed because everything else is hardwired, so it can't be anything else except for a crappy laptop. Little wave in the line, but I'll address all that crap later. Hopefully when I lean forward like that, I'm not in y'all's way. I don't think I'm leaning forward enough. Okay, we're going to do through here, and then we'll be done. Then I'll move on to the next project without going off live stream. And being that this is the outer portion, I'm not real worried about staying on the line except for on that dome. But it doesn't hurt to stay on the line because everything still has its own unique shape. It always should be your goal to stay on the line. I mean, I'm making it sound like it's okay, but it's not always detrimental to the design. But I trust y'all's judgment. You'll see me stop and reset my hands when I go to do that dome because I don't want to screw it up. But if I start to wander, I want it to be on the waist side of that dome. And if it's not, then I'll just have to slightly modify the thickness of that dome. And the blade broke. Dag blab it. Okay, I think Jeff Robinson did that. Rob Watts says, no, I'm not going to say that just in case. Rob Watts says, seems like direction of feed is just a preference of the user, comfort and vision. The saw is fine with any direction. Yes, it is, Rob. It's just, there's no rhyme or reason for me. I go clockwise, counterclockwise, sideways, blah, blah, blah. Carl Tallman, looking and sounding good. Thank you, Carl. Sounds like we had a few minutes of a glitch, but it's probably my internet speed. Okay, that blade broke, so we're going to have to reset the tension only on my saw. I don't know if that's for every Hegner. But mine loosens tension. Appreciate you joining, Carl. Jeff Robertson says, only I did it. Yes, Jeff is the reason my blade broke. Sometimes I can get the tension right just with the resistance I feel on the tension knob, but every now and then I still want to double check myself by plucking that blade. A properly tensioned blade is pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, a universal sound like you just heard. And I don't know enough about music to tell you what key that was in. All right. Rob Watts says, gotta go, guys. I'll watch the rest later. Thanks for everything, Charles. You're welcome, Rob, and I really appreciate you watching. Anybody else watching, if you have comments or questions, please let me know. Frankie's CNC and Woodworking channel says, how's everyone doing? Doing great, Frankie. Appreciate you watching. Okay, let me go ahead and finish this cut and see what remains. See, it cuts a lot better when it's a new blade. Stay on that line. And if I lose that comfort zone while I'm going around this dome, I'll purposely go into the waist area so I can reset my hands, like I just did there. It's a spiral blade, but it's a visual comfort thing for me, more so than anything else. I made a little bitty wave in that line. And y'all let me know if my fat head gets in the way of the camera. Resetting the visuals here to here, and we'll be done, and I will go right into another project. Got 28 people watching. Appreciate you. If you want to comment or question, feel free. I am repeating myself because people are coming in and out. But fear not, you don't have to run off when this is done, because we got one or two or both, two more projects to work on. And I will look for a majority vote as to which one I proceed with after this. Okay. When I am turning the saw on, I will put slight tension to push that blade into the waist area so it doesn't vibrate into the area I don't want to cut. That's with a spiral blade. I don't think that happens with flat blades. Trying to find a comfortable position for my hands for steering. Heck, nabbit. That means I had the tension too high. Okay, Jeff is really on the ball tonight. Two Shout says, glad to see somebody using a hag. He calls it a hag as well. He says he's still on an older RBI Hawk. I tried one for about a week, but I needed the money, so I sold it. That was many, many, many years ago. Jeff Robinson says, I got to send my wife a text message and ask her what's for dinner. Sad thing is, she's 5 feet from me, engrossed in her video, too. I can relate. Man, I'm embarrassed that I got the tension wrong on that. Look, we're talking here to here, or somewhere in there. Here to here is all that's left. But, yeah, every now and then I don't get the tension dialed in right. Shame on me. I may have been pushing too hard, but I'll blame it on the tension. Hopefully I didn't get it too tight again, but sometimes I'm just off. All right. And just like with a straight line, when you're doing a big curve like that, you want to stay in your mojo too. But when the blade breaks, you got to reset your mind or your mojo. I don't know what word to use. So hopefully y'all know what I'm talking about. Okay, this piece is done, but we're not. We got 2 more projects I can work on. So let me get this where y'all can see it, and then we'll pick a project. Y'all can see a majority of it, but I want to get it all in there. Maybe I already had it all in there, and I screwed it up. I can't get why don't I move the dang camera back, genius? All right, folks. I'm trying not to block it, but everything's backward on camera. Let me move it back further. Ugh. This might be the best we're going to get, folks, but there. Let me turn off this light, see if it helps any. That might get a little too dark, but come on, get out of there. There's your finished piece, minus a little bit of sanding, and I will move right into another project, and we'll all vote on it. But my vote is the tiebreaker because I'm biased. Let me catch up on comments first. Jeff, I was caught up on comments. Okay, we have 27 people watching. We're going to choose between 2 projects. May have to put the camera back even further. Yep, I do. This is a horse in an oval. Well, there's only so far I can go back with my camera, though. This has already been started. The other one has not. It's a horse inside of an oval. Hopefully y'all can see that. If not, I'll turn the light back on or get this one closer. So remember how this one looks. I'll move it up and down so y'all can see it all. That's horse inside of an oval, and I'm limited by camera space. And the other one, even if you're not into the team, hopefully you'll vote on whether or not you want to see this kind of theme being done, but it's a football player. It happens to be Ezekiel Elliott, but don't pay attention to what team it is. And I'll have to move the camera to show you that it's Ezekiel Elliott doing the feed me thing. I'll slide it down a little bit, but my laptop is in the way, so let me turn the light back on. Are y'all able to see that whole thing? Because my screen's a little smaller, but hopefully y'all can see that. Let me move the camera a little bit in case you can't. There's the upper half of it. So would y'all prefer to see the horse being worked on or this football player? I'll do either one or both. Can't guarantee I'll finish both of them in one feed, but I will go with the majority vote. And I know people might be saying, well, it's your feed, dude. Do what you want. But, I'm biased. So if it'll keep your interest, I'm more interested in what y'all want to see. Okay, Mark Simpson says horse. Jeff Robinson says Santa. Now, I will keep that in mind for future live feeds, Jeff, but I don't have any Santas drawn out right now. These are the only two I have drawn out besides a leopard. I appreciate the vote, Mark. So far, you're in the lead because you're the only one that's voted. I believe Daniel said horse earlier, too, so we can count that. Okay, that's 3 votes for horse. Oh, Two Shote says Elliot. Two Shote, are you a Cowboys fan or just using the name that I gave? Now, I may be able to finish the horse in enough time to at least start the Elliot. I don't know that, but take in mind, anything I show y'all will be a future live feed if it's not done in this live feed. So we got 3 horse, 1 Elliot, and a horse earlier. So we'll probably go with the horse, but don't worry, Two Shote. Two Shote, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I will get to this one. If I don't start on it tonight after the horse is done, I will do it on a future one. So I hope you'll subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when I'm going live. I might as well give the dimensions while I'm here. He's an Archie Cowboy fan. Well, by God, they're all over the world. So at least I have somebody. This is right at 3 feet tall, for those wondering. It will be the next feed, if not begun on this feed. It depends on how quickly I get the horse done. But also for the sake of life outside of scrolling, I may stop once the horse is done. And being that tomorrow's Saturday, I will probably do a morning feed and an evening feed, or anytime during the day. I will probably do more than one feed. I have to move this stupid Woody and Buzz out of the way so I can put Ezekiel Elliott up. And Jeff Robinson, I will take note that you mentioned Santa. I do have 2 Santa designs, but one of them's better than the other, in my opinion. Jeff Robinson says you need to add Salvation Army red kettle to the cowboy pattern. That's funny, but go Cowboys, baby. Okay, then let me get the camera set up to where y'all be able to see a majority of this while I'm working on it. I don't have a whole lot of options here, but yeah. Gonna have to. The crane is wearing out where the hardware pivots. I haven't found a way to get that to bite right into place because when I tighten it, it just spins. I guess if I got off my button, got a ratchet, I'd be able to tighten it better. But I think that's shows a majority of the piece, so I that might be a good angle and zoom. I hope I'm 99% sure this pattern is on woodenvisions.com. If it's not, I'll try to get it up there, because sometimes I cut pieces before I put their design up on woodenvisions.com. The Woody and Buzz that we just finished is on woodenvisions.com, along with others from Toy Story and Cars and all that other crap. All right, folks. Good to have a couple Cowboys and fans in here. Okay, let me get the blade set up. I have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 8 more blades, and when those break, I'll have to reload them. But I mean, I can stay on the feed while we're doing that, but hopefully it won't break that many. But we don't need to see my lap, so I will turn the camera. Well, now when you can see what I'm talking about when I talk about the tension knob. is right here on the Hegner. And that's obviously the capacity of the saw right there, which is 22 inches. But you don't need to see all that unless you want to, but I just don't want my lap showing in there any more than necessary. There, come on, we're almost dialed in. Here we go, baby. All right, we got 29 people watching. I really appreciate that. Please don't hold back on any questions or comments. I welcome any and all. The only ones I won't respond to are if they aren't family friendly, but you're not limited to scroll sawing as a topic. I'm a diverse feller and open-minded. Okay, I'm make sure my tension is still good. Might be a tiny bit tight, but I'll find out the hard way. That's how I usually learn things. And there's definitely room on this one to add my signature if I so chose. But on the wooden, I almost said wooden buzzy. Oh, I'm having one of those days. If you weren't here when I did the signature on Woody and Buzz, that's what that one turned out like. Now, if I do a signature on the horse, it'll be the opposite of that. The signature will be made of wood, if that makes any sense. Meaning the letters will be made out of wood. They won't be cut from it, if that makes any sense. I don't know how else to word it because that's just who I am. All right. Shut up, Charlie, and start scrolling, by God. And if anybody's wondering, the largest project I've ever done, I want to say was 6 feet wide or tall. I don't remember. Another future project I can do, I've already started it, but it's not done yet, is C-3PO and R2-D2 standing next to each other. And it is in the neighborhood of 5 feet tall. I started it a long time ago for a Star Wars challenge. And I actually didn't get it finished, but you can't tell from the video except for the fact that my graphics are covering the part that I didn't finish. It's a little bit deceptive, but I wanted to show the project in time for the Star Wars. It was May the 4th. You know, May the 4th be with you kind of thing. So all right, now this may not be as cute as a movie icon, but it is what it is. Okay, let me go ahead and cut the, by the way, when I cut the perimeter of these things, I don't make it a point to stay on the line because I know I can sand up to it with a belt sander or something. Obviously, if you want to stay on the line, you can, but I'm going to go ahead and do the big waste areas inside of the oval, and that'll reduce the weight a little bit. That's one drawback to these larger pieces is the weight. I don't know if y'all saw the Metallica I had going the other day, but that was just so heavy and cumbersome. I may still do it in a future live feed, but it is a pain in the butt to work with, even though I love Metallica. Start with the horse. Well, I'm glad you voted, Randy, because it's already been voted, but I appreciate it. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to get kinks out of my back. Get a swig of Dr. Pepper and we'll get going, I promise. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. Russ Meadows says your horses are phenomenal. I appreciate that, Russ. Folks, I do have a whole bunch of horse designs on woodenvisions.com and also a whole bunch of horses inside of ovals where they're sticking out like that for a 3D effect. I actually have a 52-minute YouTube video showing me, I believe, cutting and coloring one. So if you're interested in that and have the patience, by golly, go for it. Okay, I see a spot where I didn't drill a pilot hole, but that's one cut. We'll get to it later. To me, horses are one of the most beautiful animals on the planet, and they don't even have to try. y'all don't be shy, though. Y'all feel free to comment or question, make conversation. It doesn't have to be on topic. Okay, shut up and go, Charlie. See, this one's cupped, too. It's the joy of being in Texas. But none of them are severely cupped. Now, when I drew this oval, I slightly went off kilter, so I have to compensate for that when I'm cutting it. So let me try to get my finger set for for getting it drawn correctly, so I don't cut it incorrectly. This was one of those made in China things, but I might be able to use this since it has a right angle. I can use it to guide along the edge of the piece. I'm trying to calculate that now, and I'm only showing all this live because it's how I problem solve. But I'm always looking for something that can help me, because if for some reason I went off the line on this oval out here, then by writing the edge of that and another writing utensil here, it would correct it on the inner diameter, so to speak. Looks like we have one. The only drawback is that I haven't sanded to the line on the outside of the oval. And let me move the camera so y'all have something to look at. Sorry about that. So far that pencil line's still in there. But of course this thing can rock, so this is not flawless. Let me find a better way. I'm just trying to problem solve while y'all watch. I had a compass somewhere, but my shop is a mess. Okay, the same thing with this one. I can ride the edge with this right here. I don't remember where I got this, but I can ride the edge like this. Wait, I got to move the pencil further up to give you. Bear with me here, folks. It's live. I'm trying to give you all an example with a piece of scrap so you can see what I'm talking about. This right here. Get in front of the camera, Charlie. Okay, we're doing good. We're doing good. Don't laugh. Yeah, you can laugh. The angle's not set correctly yet, but I'm going to show you on camera what I plan on doing. I'm going to ride this thing right here under the piece of wood and have that pencil closer, of course, to be consistent with how the width of the oval, like you see it here. I want to be consistent with that, so I am not guessing when I'm using the scroll saw blade, and that's why I'm being so particular about this. So I'm trying to dial that in now, but to give you something to look at, you can watch me trying to dial it in. But if this thing moves even slightly, I'm screwed, or I'll be a little upset anyway. Okay, I'm going to try to tighten everything down so it won't move, but I can only control so much. I don't know where I got this thing, but I'm glad I did. It's perfect for stuff like this. And not all of it's going to be on camera, I don't think, because I have to get off the edge of the table to do it. Actually, I wasn't too far off when I was drawing it. I just slightly off. Okay, so there's the line I just redid. The rest of them look pretty good, so I'm not going to touch those. And I'm sorry it was so jumbled up, but these things happen, and there's no reason for me to turn off the whole live feed just to fix a line. And I may still have to fix that later, but it is what it is. Jeff Robinson says, how about doing a Christmas video with Lee, Wesley, Charles, all cutting the same Christmas pattern live? Well, then I'll be even more embarrassed because Wesley cuts much quicker than I do. It's not a terrible idea, but yeah. I am a slow scroll sawyer. Usually I'll do the waist areas of an oval last, but trying to reduce the weight a little bit to make it go quicker. Now we've got a steady supply of comments and questions from the for lack of a better word, the usuals. Any of you watching for the first time or only a second time, if we've never corresponded, feel free to comment. That tension's a little too tight. Feel free to comment question. I'll acknowledge you and address it. See, it sounds right, but the tension feels loose. I'm going to start from loose. Hopefully that's it. We got to get the camera set up again after I get the piece through the pilot hole here. And again, I may have to adjust this oval later, but to get a majority of it cut anyways, you'll be able to get the idea. But obviously you want to try to stay on the line, at least with the oval, because it'll make a difference. Yeah, let's get that back to viewing area. That may work. Right there, that might be the sweet spot. Let me go a little bit. There we go. I don't know if Lee has the means, Jeff, to do a live feed of scrolling, because he keeps the scroll saw in a closet and he actually sits in there to I hate to laugh, but he actually sits there to scroll. And one time he tried to do a live feed where you were looking up at him instead of at the piece. So I don't know if he has the camera set up to do it. I know Wes does, but I don't want Wes to embarrass me by cutting faster than I do. I do cut slow. But anyway, I'm actually going to stop talking. We're going to get going. Y'all feel free to talk at me. Again, a lot of horse designs, inside ovals and without ovals being involved. On woodenvisions.com, click on the shop tab and go to scroll saw patterns. Now I got to figure out which line is the one I just drew and which one is the old one. So it may look a little wavy, but I can fix that at any time. And for anybody that didn't know, I've always used spiral blades, number 3 and number 5, because they cut in any direction. Tried a flat blade one time live on a YouTube video, and that was extremely laughable. And the reason why that's vibrating so much is because my hands aren't near the blade and it's a large piece. But you'll see it doesn't vibrate as much when I'm right next to it. If you want to, you can get cocky and go past that line and go almost all the way to the edge of that oval. That way, if you go to stain or paint that oval, then that's one less place that stain or paint can bleed over. That's the only area it would be able to do that. It's kind of funny and sad in a way. I always seem to break more blades on live feeds than I do when I'm not showing anybody. Just sometimes I just can't get things dialed in right, and that's just me. I can't speak for other scrollers. and I cannot get my camera back any further, so I hope this is okay with the viewer. Which I think it is, because you get to see a majority of the project and it being cut, so I feel safe. See if there's any new comments. Jim Bashir says, hey everyone, hello. Jim, another good friend. We got 25 folks watching. Much obliged for you being here, Jim. I'll also get that ear while I'm sitting here. Again, this piece is cupped. That's why this is up off the table, so I have to hold it down while I'm cutting it. Only slightly. Appreciate you being here, Jim. If I didn't already say that, sorry. I'm going to go ahead and get the waste areas of this oval done and then just work my way around. Once I start with an eye or something, I don't really have a rhyme or reason for what direction I go. Okay, let me use my Sharpie for any places I find that need a pilot hole that I missed. So far, only 2. There may be more. Now I'm intentionally going past the line. I'm getting cocky because if I color the oval on here, I won't have to worry about bleed through as much. The less wood you leave, the less chance of bleed through. Or bleed across in this case. Not going to get it real close on that because the shape of the other one would make it come into a triangle. I probably could have gotten closer with that one too, and I still can, I guess. Let me do that. It's one of those on-the-fly decisions. It's not something you have to do. But when you do that, it will make the oval portion more brittle, so you don't want to pick it up by the oval if you're doing what I'm doing. Going around the perimeter, and then I'll just jump around. But I am referring to the places that are designed to go into the oval and outside of it. I mean, obviously, these areas here that stay inside the oval, I don't want to continue those lines into. Because a portion of it's supposed to be like it's behind the oval, and a portion of it, like the ear and the snout that's out of view, or muzzle, whatever the heck you call it, is designed to go outside of it for that 3D effect. "25 folks watching. Please feel free to comment or question." Two Shout says, I just ordered 8 dozen number 5 Neequa flat end spiral blades. I'm anxious to try them out. I believe you'll like them. Spiral, the flat ended ones, for the most part, you don't have to untwist unless they don't line up with both your clamps. But that's what I use, except I use the Flying Dutchman. Neequa and Flying Dutchman are the exact same blades. Neequa is from the manufacturer. Flying Dutchman is the U.S. distributor, or the North American name for Neequa blades. Mike Morlock used to sell them, and he passed away, so I believe his wife might have taken that over, but they're sold either through mikesworkshop.com or woodenteddybear.com. That's where I get mine, is woodenteddybear.com. Rusty Nails Wood Shop is Mr. Russ Meadows again. Rusty Nails with a Z is how he usually introduces himself. If he says everybody give a thumbs up, I wouldn't be upset or nothing. And I appreciate you, Russ. But for the sake of reading the comments, people know who I'm referring to, I'll call you Rusty. Let's see which platforms got the most. 2 on Facebook, 8 on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube just seems to have more folks watching. But I haven't heard any more about glitchy videos, so that's a good thing, unless y'all just haven't had the heart to tell me because you didn't want to hear me griping about it. Which could very well be the case. And good luck with those, Two Shout. Two Shout, do you mind if I ask you what inspired your screen name? Is it like a playoff of Too Short or something else? Just curious. You don't have to answer that. I'm just a curious feller. Rusty Nails says, I'm fine with your video. Jim Brashear says, your video looks great. Awesome. Two Shout says, I order most of my blades from Bear Woods out of Canada. Yeah, I'm familiar with them. I used to be sponsored by them, but I severed ties because I won't get personal. I will not support that company anymore, but that's just my personal decision. I won't tell anybody else what to do. No way. The company itself is good. It's an individual that I don't particularly care for, but it does me no good to talk about it, so I'm going to drop it there. The company and its products are good. I will not deny them that. But I believe you'll have good luck. Hello, Tracy. Tracy Romfer Keaton. I hit the back of the throat of the scroll saw, so I had to turn the piece to finish this cut. This piece of wood seems to be cutting better than the Woody and Buzz Lightyear. You know, just one sheet to the next, you can have better or worse results. This is birch plywood for anybody that cares or wants to know. We could very well finish this piece tonight if my back can hold out, my appetite. The piece is vibrating a little bit, but I'm trying to keep my hands out of the way. I tried to reshape that on the fly, but I think the original shape was better. And if you're just joining me, I do hope to do at least one live feed per day, if not 2 or more. Just depends on what's happening each day. But I will go for a minimum of 1 live feed per day if I can keep in materials and projects. None of the pieces you've seen me work on thus far were orders. They're just something for me to do. I'm always cutting whether or not I have an order, because scroll sawing is my passion, as is designing patterns. Woodenvisions.com. I think another reason why I chose to do the waist pieces of the elbow was to give people coming in an idea of what the pieces are going to look like. It shows up better when the pieces are cut out. Alright, that is the top of the horse. Okay, I'm going to save this waste piece because when I go to palm sand, it's less likely to break these brittle areas. Because when you put that waste piece back in, you're giving that palm sander a flat area to ride across rather than these little areas. So I often save waste pieces that surround brittle areas. We have some comments behind. Hoosier Mike came in. Appreciate you, Hoosier. Hoosier Mike Bennett. Then we have Jeff Robinson's. I'm thinking about Long John Silver fish and chips. Thank you very much. You're making me hungry. That's the only thing that usually makes me in live feeds is needing food. But we got 28 people watching. I don't want to leave that many people hanging. Tracy Rump Keaton says, just wanted to check in, Charles. My sisters are here and we are wrapping Christmas presents. Best wishes to you. Thank you so much, Tracy. I appreciate you having watched. Mimi Lord, what do you do with the finished pieces? First of all, thank you for watching, Mimi. I try to sell them, but for the most part, they they sit around. I hate to. It sounds pitiful, but it's the truth. I don't get out of the house much due to anxiety, so I rely on Facebook Market place and selling pages, and every now and then Craigslist to try to get pieces sold. But they're not selling this year. But yeah, that's what I do with them. I pretty much stack them up. If it wouldn't screw up the whole camera setup, I'd show you. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've got probably 15 pieces within a stone's throw of where I'm sitting. Carl Tallman, I have one problem with my hands, carpal tunnel syndrome. So I tilted the saw. It seemed to help. And Carl, I don't know why I haven't done that, because a lot of people do that. And I have back issues, so I'm surprised I haven't done that, but I guess I'm just stubborn. Yeah, what Carl is referring to is when you either set the back of your saw on something, or if you have an adjustable stand, you bring the front down or the back up or both, and you are at a better angle to the table, and it's less strain on your back. At least it would be for me. And I don't know why I haven't done that, Carl, but I imagine it helps. Two Shote says, Shote is a nickname I was given by a friend. I actually messed up my registration many years ago, and I added the 2. I swear all the beers I'd had that night didn't cause me to do it. I can relate to Shote, because my name on YouTube, at least, I wanted to make my username on YouTube be Charles Deering Scroll Sawyer, and it stopped me at Charles Deering Scroll. So that's why my username is Charles Deering Scroll. But most people these days can find me by just under Charles Deering. But yeah, there's a lot of funny stories when it comes to that kind of stuff. Okay. Again, I'm just going to go around the perimeter of this piece just to get them out of the way, and then I'll just start moving around. Most of the detail on this piece is in this general area. I mean, you got the specs on the face. I've already done those. Is it family friendly to ask what the Shote means? He says, I'm a Razorback fan, by the way. And okay, he's answering that. And a Shote is a young hog. I did not know that. And I thought I knew about animals. I thought, yeah, okay, that's good to know. I learned something today. Okay, we got 27 people watching. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to throw them out there. If you're watching on Facebook, I love it if you would subscribe on YouTube under the name Charles Deering or Charles Deering Scroll. You should be able to find it either way. More so Charles Deering, I would imagine. But please click on that bell and get notified for when I do live feeds. I'll try to do at least one a day, if not 2 or more. And I know I'm repeating myself, but I don't know when people are coming in or leaving. So there's that. But yes, Carl, I need to tilt this saw at some point, but I've already set it up for being flat. Alrighty then. And I know y'all could be out partying, so I appreciate y'all taking your time out of your Friday to come watch this old scroller. It's like this old workshop. Anyway. Not really that old. I just feel old. I'm 49. And I kind of look old. But I dang sure don't act old. Using a number 5 flat-ended Flying Dutchman spiral. The saw I'm on is a 22-inch Hegner. A lot of people call it Hagner, but it's actually Hegner, Hegner. They can be found at advancedmachinery.com, I believe, is their updated website. It used to be advmachinery.com. Not sure why it changed. But of course, Google helps you find a lot of stuff, too. I had no idea a young hog was called a Shote. I had no idea. Am I pronounced that right? I assume it's Shote. I would imagine it's Shote. Anything that's butting up against that oval, I'm doing. That's why you see me doing some of these random hair shadows. A majority of what you cut in a piece, at least the way I design, is either dark or a shadow, or obviously both. But like on the muzzle of this horse, wait, where am I at? Yeah, the muzzle of this horse was black, so that was designed that way because that's black. Now, everything over here, get my camera back, was cut out because that was shadows. So it's either a color thing, dark colors, or just shadows in general is what I make cuttable on 99% of my scroll saw patterns. Mimi Lord says, what kind of chair do you sit in? I use a folding chair, but want to get a different chair. I'll show you in just a second. I use a stool with a little footrest on it and rollers. If I could get one slightly taller, I'd like to, but money is an issue. Patrick Curtis says, have you tried Googling how to use a scroll saw? That's funny. Okay, Patrick Workshop is not a mean guy. It's just how me and him banter. Well, he is a mean guy to some people. That's just how we banter back and forth. But that's really funny, Patrick. You're a comedian, buddy. Okay. I called him Patrick's Workshop, but it's Patrick Curtis on Facebook, but Patrick's Workshop is his social media name for the most part, and definitely YouTube. But thank you for your support, Patrick, you little bugger. And again, I do appreciate you watching, Mimi Lord. Oh, let me go ahead and show you my chair. I mean, it's not like it won't be a trouble. It's not in the best condition because I've had it for a while, but that is my stool. It has the little footrest thing on there and wheels, but of course there's sawdust and debris everywhere. But that's what I said on it. I don't know the height of it. Let me, at its highest, it is about 27.5 inches tall. I'd like to have a little taller, but those aren't cheap anymore, I don't think. I like the fact that it's on rollers because I can move around if I need to. I actually probably wouldn't mind having one with a back on it, but that might get me too comfortable. Okay, let me see if I can get this dialed in again. There we go. So I hope that answers your question, Mimi, because I'm terrible at answering questions quickly. I tend to stretch them out, but worst problems to have. If you have any more questions, please feel free. Some people actually stand up to scroll. I couldn't do that. My back would be killing more than it usually does. There's no way I could stand up to scroll unless it was a 3 or 4 cut thing. Now I'm using the blade right now to shave the edge of that wood to get a more consistent cut when there's little bitty waves in the line. And if you see me jerk like that, it's me trying to add more of a sharp point to the end of a cut. I will do everything I can to finish this piece on this live feed tonight, unless my starvation or back gets in the way. But I promise you, unless I croak, that tomorrow I will do at least 1 live feed, if not 2. So subscribe on YouTube to be notified, or friend me on Facebook if you so choose to be notified. And it'll let you know when I'm going live, because I try to schedule them ahead of time now that I'm using StreamYard to stream on both platforms. Trying to find that pilot hole. I can feel it. I'll just do the one that goes through, and then I'll come to the next one. But I do need a swig of Dr. Pepper, by golly. We've had the high 20s in viewers, and that's awesome. Majority being on YouTube, but whichever platform works for you. And y'all got to bear with me. I got to take a swig of Dr. Pepper every few cuts. By golly. Gotta have my fuel. Mimi Laura says, you did good, thanks. Going to move to YouTube. I like your videos. Thank you so much, Mimi. I appreciate that. You should be able to find me under Charles Deering as you see it spelled on Facebook. If not, type in Charles Deering Scroll, but I'm pretty sure Charles Deering will get you there, and I appreciate that. And don't forget to hit that bell so you're notified. And I am told that YouTube has a little bit better clarity to the video. I don't know why that is. Maybe Facebook has limits. Okay, I gotta scroll because I missed some comments. How did I? Okay, Randy Bosheen says, what grit do you use for sanding? 9 times out of 10, Randy, I'm using 120 on a palm sander. Every now and then, a finer grit if it's a brittle piece, but the fact that I use carbon paper to trace patterns onto wood, I have to use same paper either way just to get the carbon paper lines off. But yeah, not that I ever do short answers, but yeah, the short answer is 120 or 150. Sorry, not 120. I love that we have such a steady supply of viewers. That's awesome. Did any of y'all know that a shoat was a baby hog? I did not know that. Of course, y'all might try to embarrass me by saying, of course I knew that. I had never heard that term before in my life. A little bit of a wave in that line. Randy Boshane, if it hadn't been for your order the other day, I would not have been able to get the adapter and the cable and the USB hub to do this live feed in better video quality. So you and one or two other people helped me do this. So I can't thank you enough. Two Shout says, I picked up a like new Toledo style drafting chair on Craigslist for $40. It goes from about 30 inches to 36 or so. No wheels, but it has a footrest and a back. Oh man. I've never heard of the Toledo style, but oh man, I'm jealous, dude. I assume you're a guy. I don't know why I'm assuming that, but forgive me if you're not. Oh, I want that, dang it. Yeah, I think if I could sit higher up, I'd probably be more comfortable, but you know, oh well. I've never heard of the Toledo style chair either, so you're just teaching me all kinds of things tonight. And if you're a woman, I apologize for calling you dude. Are you assuming my gender? I don't think a back on my chair is mandatory, but I would like to have one that's taller. I've had this one for freaking years, probably over 20 years. That's why it looks so cruddy, but it still works. He's a male, so I wasn't too far off. Appreciate it. Yes, Dennis Moore, I'm using number 5 flat-ended Flying Dutchman spiral blades. I primarily use number 3 and number 5. I only use spiral blades, though. Thank you for your question, and feel free to ask me more if you got them. Yes, all I use is spirals. I cannot use a flat blade to save my life. Started scroll sawing around 1997. I was 27 years old. I'm 49 now. Started designing patterns because I didn't like the lack of realism of the designs that were out at the time. That was my inspiration. But I do mine on paper because I'm terrible with computer programs. And I have trouble learning things sometimes. Get confused very easily. Now, this cut I'm working on, it's all one cut with the line here into this cut, but I prefer to, well, let me get outside of there first. I've said it before, but in case y'all didn't see it, for that consistent of a line, and it has to stay consistent because of the oval, and it's one single line, I like to cut this way instead of this way, if that makes any sense. I like to have the piece going away from me, so like the blade feels like it's coming towards me. I can control it better than I can pulling it away from me, pushing it away. So I hope that makes sense. And it's up to anybody's taste. It's just how it works better for me. And again, if you're just joining, I'm choosing to do all the pieces that are attached to the oval and then coming back and doing the inside cuts. Okay, we have 13 people watching on YouTube, 1 on, or 0 on Facebook. Oh, all those numbers I kept giving for viewers, I was looking at the likes and hearts on Facebook, so I apologize for that. So I've been lying about consistently low to high 20s, but it doesn't matter. We can have 2 viewers, and it's fine. If I can make a difference to even just 1 or 2 people, that is awesome. But I understand it's a Friday night also, and it's not always easy to just sit there and watch somebody scroll. I get that. Not a numbers game, but I appreciate every one of you. Here I was saying consistently mid to high 20s. That's funny. Oh well. Pretty new to StreamYard. I'm shaving areas I don't need to. I'm just picky about it. But it definitely makes me glad that I started using StreamYard, because with the low viewership on Facebook, I don't know if I do the live feeds as often, but knowing a handful or more watch on YouTube adds more to the worth it factor. But I don't have to necessarily have live viewers while I'm doing this. It just makes it more fun for me to interact. Okay, I'm going to back up a little bit, go into that waist area to plan cutting this cut, because I don't want the end of the horse to hit the throat of the scroll saw. So I want to make sure I'm turned enough to where I could still get comfortable view of the line without bumping into the saw, because it sucks when you're in a rhythm cutting a single line and then have to stop because it ran into the back of the saw if you cut billboards like I do. Carl Tallman says, I moved from Facebook to YouTube. Seems to have better sound and look better. I appreciate that, Carl. Thank you for that feedback. That's good to know, so I may tell folks that, because you're not the first person to tell me that, so that's good to know. Okay, I got to readjust my stool and take a swig of Dr. Pepper. And Dr. Pepper really owes me for all these plugs. I'm kidding. It's Friday night. Why aren't y'all people out there partying? I don't party anymore, but maybe that's your excuse too. Having kids and not having the energy to party anymore. I just say party is not in my vocabulary anymore. Unless it's a scrolling party. Come on now. When I'm doing that, I'm trying to make that sharper of a corner. Another thing that's funny about me misreading how many people were watching, I was saying so-and-so on Facebook and so-and-so on YouTube, and I didn't do the math as I was saying it, or I just realized my mistake sooner. Whatever. Not a problem. And again, this is just markings in the horse, so I'm not worried about going off the line, so I'm being a little sloppy with it. And breaking a blade. I pushed it too much. That's what I do. If you jumped, take a drink. Good old Charlie, breaking blades on live feeds, but hey, it happens. Resetting the tension. That's why I moved the piece out of the way. Might already be where we need it. Usually when it breaks, it loses tension, but this is one of the few it didn't. We can go to where the original pilot hole was. Nope, that's not it. Come on, Cletus. There we go. Oh, that's part of the problem is I'm hitting the back of the scroll saw. There we go. One thing I like about the Hagner is the blade stops at the bottom of this little screw setup, so you know that the blade's in there all the way, and you don't have to mess with trying to figure out what that sweet spot is for making sure you got the blade in enough of the top clamp and bottom clamp. Jeff Robinson says that happening tomorrow morning, and we are going to party hard, DFW scrollers. Yeah, if you're in the DFW area, get with Jeff Robinson and check it out. Once again, Jeff, I'm sorry for how seldom I go around y'all. It's not personal. It's the whole social anxiety thing. Really wish I lived closer to y'all. All right, only three more counting the waste area here, but we got this area and that area to cut the inside of the oval, and then we'll move on to the interior of the horse. But this horse will pop out more visually once I do the other waist area and the ones I'm working on now. Got 12 folks watching. I appreciate you. Randy Bosheen says, I ordered a couple more. My wife watched during Woody and Buzz portion, and Baby Yoda made me order. I appreciate that. And thank your wife for me. I don't know her name, but thank you, Mrs. Bosheen. I'm so glad I pronounced your last name correctly the first time. I tend to be a good guesser, but every now and then I'll butcher the heck out of a name. Okay, I'm going to cut it with it sideways for now, and then when I go to do this line here, I will turn the piece like this, just to have that comfort factor I was telling you about earlier. You're going to hear vibration and chatter because my hands aren't close to the blade, and it's such a large piece. Trying to make myself slow down so I don't break the blade. Now, there may be days, I talk about doing at least one live feed a day, and I plan to stick to that. But every now and then life gets in the way, and I may not be able to. I do have one order I need to work on, but it's likely a surprise, so I can't do that on a live feed. I wasn't given a timeline for that order to be filled, but I don't want to keep anybody waiting. Orders always take top priority. When you see me working on something like this versus an order, it's because having to keep my mind right for scrolling, and I guess other personal reasons. It's kind of hard to explain. Two Shote says, I just gotta start calling you Shote because you said that was a mistake. I've enjoyed the stream. We'll be back again. Great live feed. Thank you so much, Shote, and I hope you subscribed and hit that bell, buddy, and tell all your friends. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you watching. Okay, let me do this dreaded consistent line that I got to stay on. I can wave a little bit into the waist area. Oh, excuse me, waist area here. But once I hit this point, I got to stay on that line because I can't shave it because it's the single kerf. Kerf is the cut line left behind by a blade. You don't want to make that wavy, or it messes up the look of the oval. Or I guess you could just make it wider if you wavy it and try to fix it. If nothing else, these live feeds are fun to me because I get to meet new people like Shote and Randy Bosheen, Daniel, and a few others. I don't want to leave anybody out, so I shouldn't have started naming names. I like meeting people. Here's where I got to be careful with that line. Let me get my mojo set. I'm going into the waist area to turn a little bit. I'm calling it mojo, but I don't know what other term to use. Believe it or not, since I started doing these live feeds, I've noticed my eyesight has gotten worse. But the magnifiers mess with my eyes too much. At least the power of the magnifier I have. I've heard rumor that you can get different kind of magnifying strengths put into lamps, but I don't know if this one's interchangeable or not. Got this one from Miter Mike, and I appreciate it. I don't need to save this waste piece because there's nothing brittle around it. I did up here though, because there's definitely brittle areas right in here. Could be brittle. Appreciate everybody watching. We got 9 on YouTube and 1 on Facebook. We appreciate you. Feel free to comment or question if you so desire. If not, yeah, I hope you enjoy what you're watching. If I stick with it, I can finish this tonight. I'm just hoping my back and appetite will let me. But I promise you, if I can, I'll be back. Okay, I got to be mindful of the back of that saw because I don't know if you can see that, but the air is hitting there, so I don't want to turn the piece too much. So I'm going to, although I could come around and work on it this way, I'm okay with going sideways, but if I start to go out that line, it's going to bother me. But if I do, I can just change the design there. You know, I could, because although it's a single line here, it's waist area here, waist area here. But if I start to go off that line, I can just change the shape of that detail there because it's not like the horse's eye that, you know, makes a big difference in the details. So, but I do try to stay true to a pattern, but, you know, things happen. Try to do that line first and then those waist areas. And I do tend to go slower when I'm trying to stay on a consistent line like this. Slower than my usual flow. But so far, I haven't butchered that line, so I don't have to alter the design in any way. So I think we're going to be safe. Yep, we're safe. I'm actually going further than I need to, because if I go to color stain the oval, let's bleed. And for those that watch on Facebook, or actually those that watch anywhere, I can't see who you are coming in, so I can't acknowledge you. You don't have to comment, but that's the only way I can acknowledge people is by looking at their comments, because that's on this StreamYard live streaming platform. That's the only time I can see who's watching is if they talk. when I'm cutting an area that doesn't have to be a certain shape, I tend to rush and almost purposely cut sloppily because I know it won't alter the look of the design. But if the detail's more crowded, then I'm a little more careful. But stuff like this doesn't really matter to me. Okay, we're going to do this gigantic waste area here, and then we'll be done with the parts that are affecting the oval. Randy Bosheen says, either have to get internet to my shop or bring one of my saws in the house. Much rather watch this than TV. I appreciate that, Randy. That's saying a lot because TV can be pretty entertaining. And it means a lot, Randy, that you try to stick with me as long as you do on these live feeds, along with the few others that do that. Oh, getting little cramps in my fingers every now and then. I might be getting old, but don't tell anybody. You know what time it is. Carl Tallman says, I've seen many of your patterns and you do a great job with them. Just got your book on wildlife portraits on eBay. Sweet. Thank you, Carl. I appreciate that very much. I'm almost scared to ask what they were selling it for on eBay. Because they get to pick their own price on eBay. Oh, well. But either way, you got the book, and that means a lot to me. Appreciate you. Overall, the sales of that book didn't do very well because trying to cram all that detail into standard book size pages just didn't go over well. I know they were trying to give me an outlet for a book, and that was awesome, but yeah, it just didn't work out regarding general sales. I do have some ebooks on woodenvisions.com. They're not instructional, they're just strictly patterns. I want to say I have about 7 ebooks, but if you just go to woodenvisions.com, you should be able to find them if you click on the shop tab. I believe it's the shop tab that helps you find them. No pressure, just throwing it out there for anybody listening. And thank you for your compliments, Carl, in case I didn't say that. If anybody's watching on YouTube and wants to connect on Facebook, I go by the Charles Deering, and it's all one word on Facebook. I believe my profile picture is me sitting at a scroll saw with pieces next to me. I think I changed that today or yesterday. I don't remember now. My days and nights are so twisted because I don't sleep normal. Excuse me when I bump the microphone like that. Another example of me going past the line in a risky way towards the edge of that oval. Now we'll just cut the oval, and then we'll do the interior of the horse's neck and jaw. And I went off the line, so I got to be consistent and not have a wave in it. When I turn the piece like that, I definitely make it a point to push the blade into the waist area so I don't mess up that oval line. When I'm doing one long single cut like this, that's when I tend to break the most blades. If they're going to break while I'm cutting, besides being dull or being pushed too hard. More friction on the blade. On the same side for the most part. But if it was a wiggly line, it wouldn't be as much friction in one spot. I may have to reposition here shortly for comfort while cutting this line. I did find out that at least 3 people don't like my live feeds on YouTube because I lost 3 subscribers. I find it funny because, you know, must be a picky viewer. Some people have their preferences, so be it. I don't need to have 1 million subscribers to be happy and feel like I'm helping some folks, maybe, or at least entertaining. Started to go off the line, but it was into the waist area, so we're safe. Okay, so all the scary parts of the cut are over, so let me reset and we'll do the jaw and neck of the horse, and then all the large areas of the oval will be gone. Mimi Lord says, why spiral blades? The very short answer, Mimi, is because they cut in every direction. When I was researching blades to use way back in 1997, I read about each one, and they said spiral blades can cut in any direction. To me, that just made sense, and that's not to insult anybody that prefers flat blades. But I figured if I was going to learn, it just, to me, made sense that they cut in any direction, which turned out to be a benefit because I love to cut pieces large, as you can tell. And you can cut larger pieces with a spiral blade because you don't have to turn the piece like this and this. You can just move it like this, however, whatever the case may be. But I knew I wasn't going to give you a short answer, even though I started out saying that. But yes, that's why, cut in any direction. Mainly number 3 and number 5. I rarely go smaller than that because I have a tough time dialing in the tension correctly, at least on this saw specifically. All right, let's get this part done. Then don't have a whole lot left. Most of the detail left is in the main. Again, you're going to hear more vibration because I have a wooden floor, the Lexan a little bit above the table here, and the large piece with all this flopping over here. Sometimes if I put my fingers a little closer, it reduces it. Sometimes it doesn't. Unless I'm in a brittle area, I don't really keep my fingers that close to the blade, but it's not unsafe to have them near the blade. Trying to make myself go slow so I don't force the blade and break it. But there are a lot of scrollers out there that can use a spiral and a flat. I'm not one of them. I only use spirals, and I'm terrible at using a flat blade. Tried it one time and never again. But I think I became biased because 99% of my designs are only good for spirals, and even knowing that I still have trouble doing simpler patterns. Back when I drew, before I even knew what a scroll saw was, I was into realism, and I can't see detail and not add it. And sometimes most of the time, that's to my own detriment. I'm going to turn the piece to get more comfortable visually, making sure not to hit the back of the throat of the scroll saw. Man, I could feel myself pushing it too hard, and I did, but luckily these blades aren't expensive. If they were, man, I'd be in a tough spot. Hello, everybody. Wesley Volko has joined us. Yes, Wes, I broke a blade, and I'm scrolling slow, but I did finish the Woody and Buzz Lightyear. Carl Tallman says $14.95 for the book on eBay, but I will try to get them on your site and support you, a fellow scroller that I'm getting to know and like. I appreciate that, Carl. I hope you continue to like me as you get to know me. Depends on who you ask. And $14.95 is what it was selling for originally. So either way, I'm glad you got the book, and I hope you like it. Yeah, you're late, but I mean, heck, you don't have to be here on time. It's all the same to me. By golly. Okay, I got to get my tension back. Last time I didn't have to reset the tension, but I might this time. I don't want to assume on any of it. Yep, I definitely need to adjust it. All right. One more big cut and then a bunch of little ones. Let me go ahead and do it from the pilot hole area so I don't have any resistance with the teeth and the blade. Ow. My pointer finger is trying to get arthritis. Or index finger, or whatever you want to call it. So I have to do this in a weird way. Ugh. I might have got my tension a little too tight there. Let me try that again. If it feels tight again, I'll loosen it up a bit or start from scratch. Yeah, it's a little tight. How did I do that? That sounds about right. I don't know, something just a little off. Wesley Balco says, I'm tired too. I'll be glad when taxidermy season slows up. I'm tired, but that's only because I haven't napped. Which I generally do at least once a day, but not every day. Okay, hopefully I got the tension dialed in. I was too lazy to take the piece off of there to check it. Sometimes I can do it by feel, other times I can't. I might have put a used blade in there because I'm getting a little more resistance than a new blade. I talked earlier about usually cutting towards myself instead of away from myself, but it's not a real important line. I mean, I know I won't butcher it, so that's why I'm okay with doing this. It can be a little bit wavy. It's just the jaw line of the horse. But it is a large waist piece out of the way, so we have, let me see if I can hold it where y'all can see more of the horse. May have to, yeah, let me back the camera up for a second so at least y'all get a visual before I continue. Oh. We'll get a majority of that horse in here if we can. Yeah, there's the ceiling. So we'll just start up there and come down a little bit. There's the majority of the horse. Get dialed back in, aimed on that blade. So the most important part is the blade, yes? Mimi Lord says, I like flat blades, would like to venture to spiral blades one day. And Mimi, a lot of people are intimidated by spirals because they say it cuts more aggressive, but the way I see it and my reasoning is that I'm trying to think of how to word this, not that I don't remember what I was going to say. Just take in mind you can control the speed of that saw, and that blade will not cut in any direction you don't steer it. What it takes getting used to is not, since you're used to using flat blades, you're used to turning the piece to do it, but the teeth are on all sides on a spiral, so what it'll take getting used to is not having to turn the piece. So it's a learning curve by all means. And so Jeff Robinson says, so Wesley is Charles fixed for plywood. Well, no, we can't say that, Jeff, because I have to pay for it. He doesn't give it to me. He just sometimes delivers it. And thank you, Wes, for saying it looks good. Mr. Dale Kirkwood of Maple Tree Studios has joined us. Says, evening, Charles. Evening, lovely peoples. Awesome to have you here, Dale. I've been touting on you the last couple of days. I'm now hardwired in, Dale. Although people said we had about 3 or 4 minutes of pixelation on YouTube. It might be the crappy internet speed in this area. We only get 15 megs max. And Wes says he's just the driver. Oh, yeah, he's just the driver. He doesn't pay for the wood. Yeah, I generally, back when I had consistent income, I would get $500 worth. I said the syllables wrong. I'd get $500 worth at once because that would get me. Now they're 4 foot by 8 foot sheets, but I would get them cut down into 2 foot by 4 foot sheets, and that would yield 40 sheets of wood. But I go through it relatively quickly because I double and triple stack most of the time, except for these live feeds. I don't. Appreciate it, Dale. Oh, excuse me. I appreciate it. He says, Dale Kirkwood is Maple Tree Studios, in case you're following along on YouTube. He goes by Maple Tree Studios on YouTube. Obviously, he goes by Dale Kirkwood, I believe, on Facebook. He might also have a Maple Tree Studios page there. I suck at remembering things. He says the audio looks good. The piece looks great. I appreciate it. Yeah, Dave Gatton helped me out with a headset that had a mic on it, so y'all could hear me over the saw, because before we were relying on the microphone from the camera here, and it was picking up the saw noise. I got some good friends out there. Even when people don't have to give me something for them to be a friend. I'm just pointing out the ones that have helped. Wesley has helped me more than once. Jerry Brown has helped me quite a few times in my life. Dale Kirkwood has saved my butt technically a few times, meaning with technical stuff. All right, let me stop babbling and get to cutting a little more. I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish this tonight. I mean, I know It's not real late, but I've been awake for a while. But that'll give you something to look forward to tomorrow. I will, barring something unforeseen, I will do at least one live feed tomorrow, if not two. I'll probably shoot for mid-morning. Just depends on how I sleep. I still think I got that tension too tight, but oh well. Okay. I should have checked my position before I got going on this cut because I don't want to hit the back of that saw, so I'm going to turn it a little bit. Starting in the waist area. What I'm working on right now isn't up against the oval. It's on the muzzle or the snout of the horse along his nose bone. So we're not trying to stay true to a certain shape beyond just somewhat trying to stay on the line. And I got his nostril, and I'll be done with the facial portion of the horse. That being the nostril. Wesley Balco says, yeah, tell us who cuts them full sheets down to quarter sheets for you. That would be Wesley Balco, Ace Hardware in, where is it, Pearland, Texas, Wes? I know it starts with a P, I think. Or it's just Pear. I don't remember. I want to say Pearland. Ace Hardware and Lumber. Not every Ace Hardware has a lumber. I have an Ace Hardware down the street from me, but no dang lumber. And I don't think they'd have the inkling to deliver for free or give the wood. But no, I do pay for my wood. I'm not giving 40 sheets of wood. Oh, excuse me. Sorry for coughing right into the microphone. That just means I need a cigarette and a Dr. Pepper, I'll tell you what. The feedback I'm getting thus far is that the quality of audio and video is a little bit better on YouTube. But we do have 6 watching on YouTube and 4 on Facebook, and I appreciate you. Going to get back to it in a second here. And by the fact that this is so brittle, you'll see me a little bit closer to the blade here with my hands. Brittle being because there's such a thin area, and this has already been cut. If this hadn't been cut yet, that wouldn't be brittle at all. But I try to cut the bigger areas first to reduce the weight of the piece. That reminds me, I don't know if I ever measured this piece to tell people how tall and wide it is, so let's do that. A little change of pace here. We are right at 28 3/4 tall. So that'd be 2 feet 4 3/4 tall. 22.5 wide. Okay. I'm getting a little bit tired. Using my fingernail to hold this down here so we can get as much stability as possible. the tip of my finger got stuck in the hole of the Lexan for where the blade comes through, so I went off the line a little bit. But not in a severe way. I thought I was at the top of that cut because I was cutting away from me and the blade was covering. Yeah, so that would be the nostril. All right, I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and stop for tonight. But I give you my word, unless I die or something horrible happens, I will be back tomorrow. But let me go ahead and zoom out to show y'all what we got done, and then I'll show you the Woody and Buzz Lightyear that we finished earlier. This is what we've gotten done on this piece. Not a whole lot left, but getting a little tired. I also got to respond to some notifications. Yeah, Maple. Yeah, in case y'all are watching from Facebook, Maple Tree Studios is one of about 5 or 6 people that have said the audio and video are better on YouTube than on Facebook, and I guess Facebook's limited or a fluke. I don't know. Randy Bosheen says, "Didn't you have patterns published in Creative Woodworks and Crafts? Got to look. I have every issue filed in binders. I started out with pieces in Scroll Saw Woodworks and Crafts, and they're the only ones still around. I don't know if I have any in Creative Woodworks and Crafts. I honestly don't remember. But 99%, if not all, of the pieces I've had published in magazines have been Scroll Saw Woodworks and Crafts. Whichever Creative Woodworks and Crafts went under. They were part of another company, and they went bankrupt, I believe. Now I'm doubting myself, but Scroll Saw Woodworks and Crafts is where I've been published multiple times. It's harder to get in there now because there's a lot of good designers out there, and they plan each issue ahead of time. And they also want to appeal to beginners too. They appeal to different levels, but they try different style projects and different levels of difficulty. Wesley Balco says better here too, meaning the video and audio. But Wesley, that's because I don't know if you were here when I talked about it earlier. I'm hardwired into the internet now instead of relying on Wi-Fi, but I had to get an adapter and a USB hub and all kinds of crap, so I went broke doing this. But I feel better because everything sounds better and looks better. I'm not looking any better, but by God, at least we had one 3 or 4 minute pixelation issue I heard earlier, but aside from that, nobody's informed me that the quality was going to crap. So I feel better overall. I got more viewers tonight, but it's also a Friday night. But hopefully people will continue to watch. And I do appreciate every one of y'all for being here. And I will be back and watch for notifications on YouTube and Facebook. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, please go to Charles Deering Scroll or just Charles Deering. You should be able to find it. And if you do subscribe, please hit the bell to be notified. And if you're looking for me on Facebook, I go by the Charles Deering, all one word. And I really appreciate y'all watching. And sorry for those that came in late. But this video will still be here, but I will be back tomorrow, barring something out of my control. Scroll on.